one of our community personnel for this area. And he has been doing a marvelous job in assisting our health personnel to meet the needs of our clients. The health center on a whole, he has helped to do some painting and...
So it's a Rotary, what's happening is the Rotary Club of Christiana.
Okay, so you are part of that?
I'm the president of the Christian Rotary Club.
Really?
Yes. I'm the president, and as you know, the Rotary is a membership of 1.4 million persons right across the world. So it's not just a Christian thing or a family thing.
So it's a worldwide thing?
It's a worldwide thing, one of the largest organizations.
And so we need to give this organization a round of applause. They could have chosen to help somewhere else and somebody else, but they chose to assist us, and we are grateful. And we are appreciative of what you're doing, sir. And I noticed there's a corner.
Yes,
a beautiful little corner.
We set up our tea corner, and it's just, as you know, sometimes maybe some of the patients might end up coming here, they come early.
Yes.
And stomach might feel empty.
Yes.
We also have water.
Yes.
That way you just get the time extra hot now.
Yes, yes.
So water is always good. Sometimes you might be here and you don't have any water, so we have drinking water for you.
That is so good.
And we hope to do this for the entire year because we're adapting the clinic. Christian Rotary Club.
Ladies and gentlemen, you hear that one?
Yes.
Adoption.
Yeah, man.
Let's give them a round of applause. And you know that with adoption, go a lot of things, you know. Because when you adopt, they take over everything. So we are grateful for the Rotary Club this morning that has taken on the challenge to adopt us.
Yeah.
And to help to meet some of our needs. We are appreciative of that, sir. And
Thanks
sir,
for having us. Thanks
congratulate your team for the work that they are doing. Continue to do the good work. One scripture in the Bible says, Nehemiah was saying, I'm on a high job and I won't come down. So please, keep on staying up there high and do the job that you are doing. Don't come down. Keep on doing it.
I'm just going to ask you, just interact with me please. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If I say something and you're not clear, again, feel free to ask me to clarify. Alright? Alright, so we're going to go through some behaviors first that the child displays, and you can tell me if you think it's a good or bad behavior and why. Alright, so the child grabs and holds onto your finger. So can that be better? Good. Why is it a good behavior? It's adaptive. Anything else?
That's a form of how we interact.
A form of how we interact with you. So how the child create that bond with your child, and also just that grabbing alone helps to develop the child's fine motor skills, which is good. How about when the child sucks on your finger? Is that wrong?
No.
It's not wrong, but just make sure that your hands are clean, because during that time is what the theorist Piaget says, that the child is in the sensory motor stage. So the child uses his or her senses to explore the environment. So when that year is 1 or 2, you realize that they might take up the bleacher or something, you make sure to put it out of their way. They are not necessarily rude, but they are using their senses to explore the environment, to learn more about things around them. So you realize that when you speak, the child might look up at you, stare in your face, the child might grab things, suck things, etc. That's a part of the learning process. Alright, and we encourage it. Just make sure that you monitor the child. Alright, so the child holds a book upside down. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Correct them. And how do we correct the child? Right? By showing them the correct way. Because when the child holds books like that, the child is in what we call the emergent literacy stage, and the child is in the process of becoming literate. So when the child holds the book upside down, he or she knows that we hold the book a particular way. So what we do as adults now, we just turn it the correct way and take the child through the process. I'm going to talk some more about that a little bit later. Alright, so what about when the child marks and put that long line on the wall around your favorite best friend? You get upset, right? But then again, is it a good thing or a bad thing? It's a good thing because the child again is in the emergent literacy stage and the child is developing his or her fine motor skills. So again, those are practices that we have to encourage, but not really on the sheet or on the wall. So we have to put other things in place, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. All right, another one. The child asks a lot of why questions. Why is the sky blue? Why are the trees green? Why should I eat this? Is that a good thing? And what do we do as parents? We get annoyed, right? Now we say stop asking questions, right? We don't do that. Because guess what? We want the child, we want a critical thinker. And a critical thinker asks questions. And we encourage the child to ask questions from an early stage, because we talk about critical thinking and PEP, right? And a no big deal. It's just asking why. So when the child asks you why, turn it around and ask them why. Why do you want melon instead of mango? You understand? You're asking the child to compare two things, and you're asking the child also to evaluate critical thinking skill, but you're just comparing two things. So when the child asks you why, there comes a time when as parents we have to ask them why. And sometimes why is just simple answer that they're crying and they don't want to wear a particular pair of shoes. They finally ask why. Shoes tight. You understand? So sometimes we have to take the time to ask them why. Alright, so I'm just going to go into early literacy quickly. Alright, so when should you start reading to your child? From in the womb. So there are theorists who believe that in that stage the child, they believe what we call emergent literacy. And it's the process they believe that children are in the process of becoming literate from birth. So when the child is in the womb, you talk to the child, you read to the child. And when the child comes, you continue the process. Alright, let me just read something quickly about emergent literacy. It says a concept that supports learning to read in a positive home environment where children are in the process of becoming literate from birth. We're not necessarily talking about reading yet, because we're not there. But all of this happens in a supportive home environment. We first get them. Before they reach the school, they are in our environment. So we have to set the foundation for teacher to build on. If there's nothing, teacher can't build. Alright? So it starts from the child born. That's when you start interacting. But you start from birth, yes, from when you're in the womb. But when the child comes, you take it a step further. Continue. So promoting literacy means surrounding your baby with language in many forms. So here are some ideas to read, speak, or sing your way through the day. Alright, so speak and tell stories. I'm just going to give you some activities that you can do through the day. Alright, so talk about what's going on. So whether you're changing a diaper, bathing your child, or taking a walk, use words that describe the actions and the things around them. You'll help them develop vocabulary before they even can talk. Again, vocabulary is very, very important. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. So we start talking to them and they're changing them. And we don't talk in baby voice. That's something we don't do that. No, boo-boo gaga. No, boo-boo gaga outdated long time. Because what we believe is that we are modeling the language. So when we speak, we have to speak to the child. We want the child to speak to us. Understand? So we speak to them in adult voice. Alright? So babies babble. It's how they learn to make sounds with their own voices. So repeat these sounds, turn them into real words. You'll help your baby recognize which sounds form language. And again, sounds, that's a very important part of language development. Because each letter makes a sound. And when we are helping them at home, that's something that we have to teach them. Or help them to understand before they get to school. Because when they get to school, you don't want your child to be left behind. Because you did not do what you were supposed to do at home. Remember, teacher gets them at what, 2, 3? By the time, right picking them there. 2 and 3, we can set the foundation for teacher to build on. So reward your baby's first tries by making sounds with smiles and hugs. Remember, we're building that bond and they respond to us. So when they make certain sounds, we encourage it. You understand? It's the encouragement with the labor, right? It's a reward. The behavior is talk about rewarding these things. And when you reward certain behavior, you increase the likelihood of it happening again. And that's what we want, positive behaviors. Alright, so once your baby starts talking, help them learn the words for the things around them. We spoke about vocabulary. Again, as parents, we can label them. So we label the door, we label the couch, we label the plant, we label, you understand? Different things in the house. and it helps the child to develop their vocabulary. Because there comes a time when parents, we're going to ask the child to say, okay, go to the coach and get me the pink cushion. Because we are helping them to learn colors. So we say get the pink cushion, get the soft one. We learn them to understand how things feel. And if you realize that when they get to school, these are some of the things that they're going to be teaching them anyway. So we started from home. It is not expensive. It's just really talking to the child. Our personal storytelling about shared experiences is powerful. So your baby can watch your face, participate by nodding or repeating a word, and respond with emotions. So that's important too. In the sense, so we definitely have to have conversations and start the storytelling. Now I left my storybook, but one of the things that we do when it comes to books and stories, that's a must. Why we spoke about vocabulary. When we speak to the child, there are certain words that we use. But when we use a book, they're exposed to tons of words that we don't use in our everyday conversations. One book, two books make a difference. When I say go out and spend a lot of money, two books can do it. So what you do with a storybook now? I'm sorry, I left mine. Let's pretend that is my storybook. So first of all, you're reading to the child. Now the child sees how you hold it. That's the first thing, right? And when they start turning the page, the child understands. Because these are skills, you know. We're adults, we know them, but these are skills for the baby. So they turn the page, the child understands that's how it goes. So we're reading now, this is what we call directionality. We have to help the child to understand that we read from left to right. So while they're reading, you're pointing at the words so that the child understands. And then we go from top to bottom. So you see, it's normal for us because we've been doing it for years. But for the child, we have to teach them that. We teach them what is called directionality. So we read from left to right and from top to bottom. So we have that storybook again now we're teaching the child. We're reading to the child. So as the child gets to go along now, we might look at it now. Alright, so we're reading now. Show them, they're not child necessarily speaking yet, but you can ask them to show me the ball. Show me, touch the girl. You understand? Touch this, touch that. And then as the child gets older, we increase the questions, the level of the questions. Alright, what is the name of the girl in this story? Look at the picture. Is the girl happy or sad? Why do you think she's happy? You understand? Take it a little step further. So what we're asking to do is just to really interact with the child, build that foundation so that when the child gets to school, it's not too hard for teacher. Because remember, every child who comes to the classroom, they're coming from different environments, different backgrounds, different experiences. So while mommy over here spends the time to interact with her child and have a conversation, her child comes to school maybe reading an entire sentence. I don't have the time. So if my child comes to school, my child maybe know one letter, two letters, you understand? So it all goes back to the home environment, and we need to give our children that can start. So we talk about language development now. Oral language, we talk about language rich environment. That doesn't mean we should buy anything. It's just talking to the child. By talking to the child, we help the child to develop his or her oral language skills. Because the child imitates what we say. You understand? So we talk to the child. After we ask them questions. We give them instructions for them to follow. So we understand that the child is hearing correctly. And remember, a child under 6 years old, we don't usually diagnose that child with a reading problem unless it's an extreme case. Because the child is in the emergent literacy stage, the child is developing. So some develop fast, some develop a little bit slower. Sometimes it goes back to the environment. That's why each parent has to put in the work. Now the tablet is a good thing. So we give them time on the tablet, but we cannot give them too much time. It helps with vocabulary, yes, it helps them to understand colors and shapes, but it doesn't help to develop skills. We talk about skills, we want them to be able to hold a pencil. So for us as adults, we're bad on that because we have been doing it for years. We can hold a pencil, we can hold a pen, we can pull up the zip. It's easy for us. But for a young child, it is not so easy. So what we have to do, we have to develop the fine motor skills. So the mark on the wall, that's an indication that we need to go and buy the big crayons. So by the jumbo first, always start with the jumbo because they have to be able to manipulate it. So we start with the jumbo, we get them paper, we get them coloring books. So they do the little marking up with the jumbo. So when they get to school, they realize that teacher asked for the jumbo first. So after they're able to manipulate and move the jumbo, we can move on to the smaller crayons. And so these are some skills we have to help them to develop. Again, we playing at home, we talk about gross motor skills, we talk about the fine one with the fingers, we talk about the gross motor skills. They need to be able to run, jump, hop, skip. Again, play with them at home. It's inexpensive, and these are things that we as parents can do. Again, we want to give our child a head start. And just, these are some of the things that we can do at home. Conversations, talk to them. And we talk to them and say, how was school today? They say school was good. That's not a conversation. You need to ask another question and maybe two more. You understand, to keep it going. Why did they say that school was good? First day at basic school, you know that they're going to be balling down the base first day. But after time, depending on the attachment level too, because those who feel secure and are confident that in their peers, because we have that bond with them, they might cry the first 2 days and then they stop because they know that mommy will come back. Because you've already established that bond with them. So you have to be careful and establish that bond from an early stage when the children are concerned. Alright? So everything at home is a learning experience. And we can use just about everything there to create that literacy experience so that when they come to school, teacher can build on it. We teach them letters, we teach them sounds. So they come and you tell the door. The door. What letter do you hear? You understand? So you're setting up your child up to do well. So start the process at home, parents. It's really inexpensive. Just talking to the child, reading to the child. These are some of the things that we can do to really get them ready for school. Alright, so? And that's my bit for you this morning, ladies. Any questions? Any questions?
I would say parent is the first teacher, and that's where it should start. Again,
It has to start at home because what about 0 to 2 years? So what are we doing in that time frame there? Teacher not at home with you. It's when you get to work on your child. Thank you so much, first educator. And if we don't do it, who's going to help our child?
Nobody not going to.
Because remember, everybody coming in at different levels, and those who work with your children will be already a step ahead.
Of course, we got to teach them family.
All right. Anything else? All right. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
You know, I sat here and I listened, and many of us, well, the Rotary is about changing lives. Adults who are here, including the church and some others, how many were exposed to this level of exposure when you were a child? Including we weren't never exposed to it. Right. So if you mothers here are getting an opportunity, and don't take, it's a small way, but I see here it's very effective. It's an investment in your unborn child.
Yeah.
So value and treasure it. And if you cultivate some of the practices of you just heard, then you'll have a brilliant, we have some leaders among us right now.
Yes.
But this is where it starts. This is where it started.
Yeah.
It has absolutely nothing to do with wealth. Absolutely nothing to do. Because what you have just exposed to is something you can do without it. Your only investment is your time.
Yeah.
And your time that you want to invest in your unborn child. And when that child is born, you're going to see them through. So they're going to be the next leaders at Jamaica and the world.
Yes.
So we have some budding leaders that are involved from all of you here. So I encourage you to practice it.
This one,
Cynthia Hutchinson, assigned to the Rotary Health Center and the Peace Center. On behalf of the staff and clients here at the Rotary Health Center, we would like to thank you for coming here today. Thank you for giving us this information, because I know that I have learned something, and I know that all the clients here have learned something, all the employees have learned something. We welcome you again, anytime again, and we thank you so much again for coming here today. I would like to thank the Christiana Rotary Club for coming here today for all of us have learned something from Martin too.
Right.
And all of us have engaged in some of the stuff here that they have provided for us. So Mr. Patmore and his team, I would like to say a big thank you to all of you for coming, for sharing with us. We really appreciate it very, very much. Thank you for all the work that you have been doing. Depends when you go inside the bank, you will notice. One of those inside it, alright. Yes. And it's all thanks to the Christiana Rotary Club. So thank you again, sir. Thank you again. Thank you very much. Alright, Daniel, we just today or is it
Daniel, on behalf of the Christiana Rotary Club, we want to give this small token as a little start for a new journey. We wish you all the best. And we will see it.
Thank you.